let me tell you guys something. You are not crazy. I take my glasses off of this one. Something is wrong. Today's case, trigger warning. That's all I can say is trigger warning. Okay? Tonight's case we proves exactly why I say something was wrong. What authorities reportedly discovered inside a Grand Rapids, Michigan home in 2024 shocked even seasoned investigators. An infant, defensively vulnerable, allegedly living in conditions so disturbing that many people are asking, how did it get this bad? The suspect in this case? Brooklynne Davis. Yeah, let me say her name again. Brooklynne Davis. The victim, a baby, publicly known as Skii. Beautiful, beautiful little girl. Just gorgeous. Tonight, we are not here for gossip. We are not here for clout. We are here for awareness. So because when a child is living in conditions this extreme, you guys, this extreme, something was wrong long before authorities showed up. So we're going to break down what happened, what was reportedly found, the timeline and accountability, questions that follow, and also this conversation is about education, prevention, and community awareness. So we're going to get into it because, I don't like to waste any time. So let's get it cracking. Okay, I don't know if anybody else's experience, lips been dry lately. No matter what I put on them, they just can't get right. How's everybody doing out there today? Yes, it's another day. I'm trying to get these banners off this thing because I need to give this the full screen. So that's what I'm trying to do over here. So let's get this going. Let's go.
You said that she's gone?
She passed. I woke up this morning and she's gone. She passed.
You're saying that she's deceased?
Yes.
On August 22nd, 2024, at 5 p.m., Grand Rapids Police received a 911 call. This would expose one of the most severe cases of child neglect the department had ever seen. The caller was Brooklynne Ray Davis, a young mother reporting that her 1-year-old daughter was deceased. But this wasn't a sudden tragedy. This was the culmination of months of neglect that would reveal a pattern of mistreatment so severe it would ultimately be ruled a homicide. Brooklynne Davis.
Okay, you guys, let's hit it with this. Fair use notice. This broadcast may contain copyrighted material used under Section 107 of the Copyright Act for purpose of commentary, criticism, and news reporting. Also, investigative legal disclaimer. This content is based on publicly available records and media reports. All individuals discussed are presumed innocent unless proven guilty in the court of law. Commentary reflects opinion and analysis for informational purposes only. And everything on this channel is my opinion. Fair use notice. This broadcast may contain copyrighted material used under Section 107 of the Copyright Act for purpose of commentary, criticism, and news reporting. Also, investigative legal disclaimer. This content is based on publicly available records and media reports. All individuals discussed are presumed innocent unless proven guilty in the court of law. Commentary reflects opinion and analysis for informational purposes only. And everything on this channel is my opinion. Okay, also trigger warning. This live contains discussion of alleged child neglect, unsafe living conditions, and disturbing details involving an infant. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. This content is shared for education, prevention, and awareness purposes. So let's get back into it. And I'm stuck over here. So you know what? We're going to get out of here. We're going to exit. Yeah, we're going to remove that. And save. Okay, here we go.
Was born and raised with connections spanning from Michigan to Texas to North Carolina. Brooklynne's life had been marked by instability and isolation long before the events of August 2024. She became a mother at just 16 years old when she gave birth to her first child. His name is Jay. When Jay was 2 years old, his father was removed from their lives, leaving Brooklynne to raise him alone. This early trauma seemed to set a pattern of isolation that would define Brooklynne's approach to motherhood. According to her own statements to police, After losing Jay's father, Brooklynne isolated herself and tried to do everything on her own. When she turned 20, she managed to get her own apartment for herself and Jay to live in, and for about a year and a half, things seemed to be going very well. But then, as Brooklynne would later tell detectives, things started to change and she got sad. It was during this period of depression, Brooklynne became involved with a man named Marcus, who would become the father of her twins. When Brooklynne discovered she was pregnant with twins, she saw it as a fresh start. She said to police, "When I got pregnant with the twins, I was happy because it was a new start for me." Now the twins, a boy and a girl, were born prematurely at around 30 weeks gestation. Though twins generally come early, I'm correct, right? But due to their premature birth, both babies required extended hospital stays and special care. They were placed on a
You know what I'll never understand? She just stated that
specialized formula.
that she was already in depression with the first child because that child father was incarcerated. So you said to yourself, okay, let me have more kids. When do we say no?
Called yellow neosure and required careful monitoring. Despite these early challenges, the babies eventually came home to live with Brooklynne and 8-year-old Jay. Now Marcus, the twins' father, he played a crucial role in the family's stability, even though he didn't live with them. According to Brooklynne's statements to police, Marcus came over daily, worked multiple jobs to provide for them. He was in essence the primary caretaker when it came to the twins' well-being. For 6 months before August 2024, Marcus was incarcerated.
Ladies, we got to do better. We have to do better. You know, you can vet your husband, your baby daddy. You can figure out how a person is and make the right decision. Come on now, 2. That's just the type of dude you like. It is what it is.
This left Brooklynne as the sole caretaker for 3 children. Skii was the girl, T was the boy of the twins. It was after Marcus's incarceration, everything began to fall apart, as Brooklynne would later admit. She said, "Since Marcus has been incarcerated, I have been slacking and sleeping a lot." This admission will prove to be a massive understatement of the neglect that was about to unfold. And by the way, I do have her police interview. I will upload it for you tomorrow on this channel. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern. So please turn on your notifications. Now with
I will put his channel in the description. So if you want to, you can go on and get the information that he'll be uploading. Thank him for this content. We need to get this out. So I'm part of that mission. So let's go.
Marcus gone, Brooklynne's mental health deteriorated rapidly. She admitted to police that she had mental health problems and began drinking heavily, starting each day with at least a shot of alcohol. She would drink either in her apartment or go out to a vehicle to drink alone. The apartment began to deteriorate, along with Brooklynne's mental state. With what once became a home became a place of neglect. The conditions were so severe that the police finally entered the apartment. They were immediately struck by the overwhelming smell of urine and feces. Officer Garrett Beiersdorf, one of the responding officers, documented the horrific conditions in detail. He said the kitchen was crawling with cockroaches, both alive and dead. The floor throughout the apartment was sticky with dried food and stains. The kitchen sink contained stagnant water, and dishes with old, rotting food were scattered across the countertops. Small bugs flew around the kitchen, attracted to the decaying food. But the kitchen was just the beginning. The living room, which appeared to be used as a bedroom, contained only an air mattress with some blankets. The floor was heavily stained, and a portable crib that should have been used for the babies was instead filled with random items. The hallway contained a pantry closet with a high chair that still had old rotting food stuck to it. The hallway floor was sticky and covered in stains, and as officers walked down it, the stench grew stronger and gnats filled the air. Now the bedroom where the twins slept was perhaps the most disturbing of all. It contained only a single mattress, placed directly on carpeting that was soiled. with what appeared to be feces and other substances. This is where the twins were expected to sleep and live. But there was another bedroom in the apartment, one that Brooklynne was initially hesitant.
I can't wait to see whether or not they tell us that the officers had these facts come in and take these kids. Period. There should have never been a second case. This right here, one and done, saved everybody's lives. But obviously, I haven't watched this, but obviously didn't go that way because we have an issue going on here.
To let officers enter. When they finally gained access, they discovered why. This room housed Brooklynne's dog. It was a pit bull that appeared severely emaciated with visible bones and a tucked tail. The room was covered in dog feces and urine, contained old dirty diapers, and had an empty bag of dog food. The window was left open for airflow, but it did little to help the overwhelming stench. The dog's condition would later be documented by the Kent County Animal Shelter. A vet report stated that it was evident the dog had been underfed for an extended period, with its spine, ribs, and hips visible. The vet noted that the neglect was clearly chronic as the dog showed evident muscle wasting and dehydration. This wasn't just a home in disrepair, this was a place where no living being, human or animal, should have been forced to exist. Now, as the conditions in the apartment deteriorated, Brooklynne became increasingly isolated. She admitted to police that she does not allow others into her apartment often, and when she does, they are stopped in the main living space. When maintenance needed to enter for inspections, she would clean up beforehand so that they would not call on her or evict her. Family members who tried to help were pushed away. Her sister explained to police she had tried to help Brooklynne because she knew she needed assistance as a single mother of 3. But Brooklynne would allow her sister to take 8-year-old Jay places, but never allowed the twins to go. The sister said
why.
Brooklynne had pushed everyone away and won't accept any help. Now, the twins' paternal grandmother, who lived in Illinois, described similar experiences. She had only been allowed inside the residence once, and even then, she was not allowed to the back of the apartment and had to stay out front. There were times when she came to visit and Brooklynne would not let her see the babies. This grandmother would bring diapers when she visited, but noticed that Brooklynne never wanted to change the diapers. But when others would offer to change them, she would not allow this and said she wanted to do it herself. Even more disturbing were the conversations this grandmother had with Brooklynne over the phone. See, she would call her in the mornings, and she could hear the kids crying in the background. When she would
You can tell there's clearly something wrong with this baby. Let me go right there. Because the head to body ratio, something, yeah.
kids crying in the background. When she would ask what's wrong with the babies, Brooklynne claimed she was cooking breakfast and Skii wanted to be picked up. But when the grandmother asked to see the children over the video chat, Brooklynne would claim she could not get it to work. As the months passed, the warning signs became increasingly obvious to those who managed to see the children. A 13-year-old girl, who was Brooklynne's younger sister, had been around the children and told family members disturbing details about what she saw. This 13-year-old revealed she had never seen Brooklynne feed the children. She only saw her giving them water. When asked if she had ever fed the children herself, the girl said no. But even more alarming, the girl reported the babies were normally locked up in the back room. Now, the children's physical condition was deteriorating rapidly. By August 2024, both twins were severely malnourished. Hospital staff would later use Broslow tape. Now, this was a medical device. It was used to measure medication dosages based on a child's size. The tape, designed for children aged 3 to 6 months, was the appropriate size for Skii, who was actually over a year. So this device was there to look at 6-month-old, not for a 1-year-old. You get it? When Brooklynne was told by detectives that Skii weighed only 13 pounds when she died, her response was, "Really?" She claimed 2 months prior, Skii had weighed 22 pounds when she saw a doctor, but argued it doesn't take small children long to lose weight. The twins were supposed to be eating solid foods appropriate for her age: fruits, vegetables, age-appropriate snacks, and regular meals. But Brooklynne, you know what she gave them? Protein shakes, mini pancakes. And hospital staff discovered that these protein shakes were actually mass gainers. That's actually insane. I work out like 3-4 times a week. I drink some of these shakes. For example, the Huel ones are high in calories. The Quest ones are low in calories. It's the carbohydrate intake that's different. What I'm saying is none of these are appropriate for an infant. But the mass gaining ones, they destroy your stomach. They're like, ugh, to give this to an infant? You stupid cow. She was given them high calorie protein powder sold at stores like GNC for weightlifters. This was completely inappropriate. Now on August the 22nd, 2024, it started like many other days in the Davis household. According to Brooklynne's statements, she had put the twins to bed around 8 p.m. She laid them on the single mattress on the floor. Brooklynne claimed she woke up around 9 a.m. and went to check on the twins around 10 a.m. Her 8-year-old son Jay also went to check on them. T, the male twin, was awake, so she picked him up. Skii appeared to still be sleeping. Brooklynne said Skii was laying on her stomach with her head to the side.
Skii,
no
sir.
blankets were up over or near her face. But this is where Brooklynne's story becomes disturbing. She claimed that she took T out of the room but left Skii there to continue sleeping. She then made breakfast and spent time with her other children. Around 2 p.m., she laid T down for a nap on the blow-up mattress in the living room and laid down with him for about an hour. Have a look at the timing first. She put the kids to bed 8 p.m. the night before. It's now 2 p.m. Skii is still in the same room. She laid down with T for an hour. After waking up around 3 p.m., she went to a neighbor's apartment to get some rice. But she still didn't check on Skii. It wasn't until 4 p.m. she went to the back bedroom, and what she found would change everything. When she picked up Skii, she immediately knew something was terribly wrong. As she told police, she was gone already. She was dead weight, and her skin was cold. But even in the moment of crisis, Brooklynne's actions were questionable. Instead of calling 911, she calls her mom. Phone records would later show this call occurred around 5 p.m. During this call, her mother told her, "Don't call me, go call 911. But Brooklynne did not call 911 right away. According to her own admission, after hanging up with her mother, she went to use the bathroom, then waited another 5 to 10 minutes before calling police. So she didn't call them till 5:30, over an hour after she claimed to have found Skii, approximately. When Brooklynne finally called 911, her statements were very inconsistent. She told the call taker, the operator, that her daughter was unresponsive and gone, and that she had woke up that morning and her 1-year-old daughter had passed. But when the call taker tried to clarify when she had found her daughter, she changed her story, saying it was about an hour before calling. She then explained that her 8-year-old son had gone into the room around 10 a.m. to check on the child. He told her it looked like she was sleeping. Remember, what actually happened is she went in, picked up T, and left Skii in there. Now she's blaming Jay, saying, "Oh no, Jay told me she's asleep, so I left it at that." When the call was transferred to medical dispatch, she told them it looked like she'd been gone for a couple of hours, and these constantly changing timelines would become a pattern throughout Brooklynne's interactions with police. The operator dispatched emergency services immediately, but the damage was already done. By the time responders arrived, there was nothing they could do. Grand Rapids police officer.
I don't understand these young women. I don't understand. Why not just give the child up? Is it easier to delete them? I can't wrap my brain around this. I really cannot. Because at the end of the day, the end result is the end result. You're not going to have your child. So why not just give it up legally? You go on with your life. Your child finds a beautiful home and everything is perfect. But no, you want to take T and not Skii and Drew Skii. Was that the third child named Drew Skii? Skii and T. I think it's Skii. I think this guy's saying it wrong. It's spelled Skii, but I still think it's Skii. But anyway, that's the least of our problems right now. Let's stay focused, y'all.
Kaylin Stevens was among the first to arrive. What she found there would haunt her. Skii was lying on the blow-up mattress in the living room, and her condition was immediately shocking. The officer reported Skii appeared to be severely malnourished, and her eyes appeared sunken and dark. She also observed a wound on the inside of her right leg. When fire department personnel asked Brooklynne about this, she claimed Skii's diaper leaked last night. However, the firefighters told her this wound would not have occurred from one incident of her diaper leaking.
That's right.
But Brooklynne insisted that's what happened. Fire department personnel then began life-saving measures, but it was cleared.
Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all this. Diaper rash doesn't have to be. I have multiple girls, and ne'er one of my children has ever had a diaper rash. Don't even know what a diaper rash looks like. I change them. Sometimes open up the pamper and pamper bone dry, and I still change it. You know, once you get yourself on a schedule, it doesn't have to happen. A diaper rash, you guys, is the first sign of neglect. So don't be going around, oh, the baby got a diaper rash. Y'all watch this channel, pick that phone up. I think this baby's being neglected. It's neglect. It's neglect, y'all. It's just neglect. Sorry.
Skii had been deceased for some time. Her twin brother T was also on the mattress, and his condition was equally alarming. Officer Stevens noted T appeared lethargic as he was unable to hold his head up. He himself appeared small for his age, but not as malnourished as Skii. At one point during the emergency response, T began vomiting a purple substance. This was so concerning, the paramedics transported him to the Helen DeVos Children's Hospital, where he was admitted to the ICU. Now, while police were there, Jay, the 8-year-old, was present. He appeared to be very nourished but dirty. Officers noted that it is unknown when he was last given a bath. The time of death was officially recorded at 5:54 p.m. The medical personnel believe Skii had been deceased for much longer. Now, as patrol officers secured the scene, detectives were called in to begin what would become a complex investigation. Detective Brianna Pearson was assigned as the lead investigator, and she immediately began documenting the horrific conditions and interviewed Brooklynne. The apartment...
So let me ask you guys, should we be holding grandma accountable? The sister, the father of her children's mother, her mother, because her mom said she wouldn't let her in the back. Let me tell you something. If my mother came to my house and she said, and I said, oh, the kids is in the back and you can't go in there, let me tell you something. I'll be laying on the floor. It's nothing. And the fact that the 13-year-old went back to the mom and told her, I don't remember ever seeing her feed the kids. So all of these people failed this baby, not just the mom. You know, they knew she had depression with the first child. So everybody should have been like hyper vigilant with her. I think they all should go to jail. If we start holding everybody accountable, I bet you this child, what's going on, would slow down. You go to jail. You go to jail. You go to jail.
Conditions were so severe, officers reported getting body lice just from being inside. The smell was so overwhelming, people passing by in the hallway were making comments about it. There were bugs everywhere, cockroaches, house lice, fleas, and gnats.
Oh
in the
my
bathroom, the
God!
bathtub was filled with water, and it had a yellow tint and a film on top. That is fucking disgusting. The children's bedroom floor was covered in what appeared to be feces that had been caked into the carpet. The entire apartment had a terrible odor of urine and feces. Detective Pearson noted that there was minimum furniture throughout the apartment, other than the blow-up mattress. The portable crib that should have been used for the babies was instead filled with random items, making it unusable for its intended purpose. Now, Tom Wodorek from the Kent County Medical Examiner's Office arrived at the scene. After examining the child's body and the conditions in which she had been living, his assessment was clear and devastating. Skii's physical condition told the story of prolonged neglect and starvation. Her skin was tight against her bones, particularly visible on her ribcage, neck, and collarbone area. Her eyes were sunken deep into their sockets, and her head appeared disproportionately large compared to her emaciated body.
That's exactly what I said in that original photo that came on. I said, you can clearly see something is wrong with this baby. Not only that, she's inside the her stroller. She's outside, y'all. And if I can look at it, come on down. Jail.
The wounds on her inner thighs were
babies. Look at
severe,
these pretty
open
babies.
sores that appeared to be scabbing in some areas and raw in others. According to Brooklynne, these were from a diaper rash that had developed the week before, but the severity suggested prolonged neglect of basic hygiene needs. Some of the scabbing was accompanied by feces, indicating that the child had been left in soiled diapers for a long time. There was also deep wounds that appeared healed or mostly heated, along with skin discoloration on her front waist area, suggesting this neglect had been ongoing for some time. Now, Skii was a very small child for someone who was over a year, just about. She appeared emaciated and weighed only 13 pounds. For comparison, a healthy 1-year-old girl typically weighs between 17 to 21 pounds. Now,
I'm gonna make y'all laugh. This ain't funny though. My oldest daughter at 9 months weighed almost 45 pounds. She was so thick, and I didn't overfeed her. And she was the finicky one. She didn't eat much, I had to like coax her to eat all the time. But my baby was so thick. We were out. Someone said, "Look at that giant baby." Like, why would you want your baby to look like that? Jesus Christ.
on August the 23rd, Pearson attended the autopsy performed by Dr. Cole at the Kent County Medical Examiner's Office. The results were as devastating as expected, but they provided crucial evidence for the case. Dr. Cole ruled Skii's death a homicide, with the cause of death being malnutrition and starvation. He noted the child was also severely dehydrated. Most importantly, Dr. Cole explained that this was an intentional act of starvation on behalf of the caretaker. This wasn't an accident or a case of a parent struggling to provide adequate care. This was, in the medical professional's opinion, an intentional act that led directly to the child's death. The autopsy results would become crucial evidence in building the case against Brooklynne, providing medical proof that Skii's death was the result of deliberate neglect rather than an accident. Now, while Skii had died from the neglect, her twin brother T.
All right, let's stop this for a second. I just wanted to look up something. I wanted to look up, is it painful? Because I already know the answer. Passing from starvation. Yes, starvation is physically and emotionally painful. When the body doesn't get enough food, severe hunger pains and stomach cramping, headache and dizziness, weakness and shaking, irritability and anxiety, trouble thinking, trouble focusing, fatigue, muscle wasting, muscle pain, confusion, extreme weakness, I'm not done. I ain't done yet. Feeling cold all the time, organ failure, fainting, and very advanced stages. People are extremely weak and less responsive. So not only did she do this to her child, she had her child endure the most excruciating pain probably ever in her life. It also says, as starvation continues, the body starts to break down fat and muscles, which is extremely painful. When atrophy sets in, sometimes these stories be hard for me to do, but I know they need to be done. Okay. Let's go back over here and let's get it going
He
again.
was fighting for his life at Ellen Children's Hospital. Detective Michael Tagliavia was assigned to monitor T's condition and gather evidence related to his care. When T arrived at the hospital, his condition was critical. He was lethargic and staring forward, not responding to much around him. Shortly after arriving, he began vomiting heavily. Now, the hospital staff, they described his vomit as having a chocolate milk type consistency.
They
Ugh.
call that
He had
coffee
abrasions on his
grind
right leg where the
emesis.
skin was rubbed raw below his knee. He had discoloration on the inside of both thighs that appeared to be bruising. The skin on his feet and toes was extremely dry and cracking. Most disturbingly, T had bedbugs in his hair and had to be given a bath by hospital personnel after being photographed. What the fuck? They collected T's clothing as evidence,
I'm with
along
you.
with samples
What
of the
the
vomit he
fudge?
expelled. Dr. Fedorovich from the ER treated T initially, noting that his condition was critical. He was then transferred to the ICU, where he remained under intensive care. The medical team discovered T was suffering from malnutrition, dehydration, similar to his deceased sister. His recovery would be long and uncertain, but unlike Skii, he had been found in time to save his life. Now, after the initial investigation,
Yeah, what's going on with this
Brooklynne was
bitch?
allowed to leave the scene. However, as evidence mounted and the severity of the neglect became clear, detectives knew they needed to bring her in for more questioning. On August 24th, Officer Chase Ungray received information Brooklynne was staying with her father. Now, through database searches, officers located her father and discovered he was using an address in Kentwood, Michigan. Kentwood police responded to the residence and made contact with Brooklynne's father, who was with a female he claimed was his granddaughter. The female appeared younger than expected and had pink hair, but due to a lack of cooperation, officers were unable to confirm her identity and left. 2 days later, the U.S. Marshal Task Force was assigned to locate and arrest Brooklynne. After checking several locations, including the courthouse and Bethany Christian Services, they received information that she might be staying at a hotel with her mother. The task force checked several hotels before receiving a tip. This tip was that Brooklynne had told CPS she was at a hotel. Detective Wirtz located Brooklynne in the parking lot of the west side of this hotel. She was in the back seat of a vehicle with her mother driving and a male passenger in the front seat. Brooklynne was taken into custody without incident. Her cell phone was seized as evidence and she was transported to Grand Rapids
Good.
Police Department
Yep.
for questioning. So Detective Pearson and Detective Weston interviewed Brooklynne in the major case interview room. Remember, that will be uploaded for you tomorrow, but at least now you have a huge background on the case. So, Brooklynne began to reveal the full extent of her neglect. When asked if she would be going to jail, Detective Weston was honest, explaining she had to have an idea of what was happening. Brooklynne's response
had
was
to.
telling, I didn't do
But
nothing
I will
intentionally
say,
to my
wait
baby,
a
she
second,
said.
hold on.
Brooklynne began by
I will
talking
say
about
this.
her mental problems. She explained how after losing
I've never experienced postpartum depression, but I know it's real. And I know that women, after you have your child and you go into like this sunken place. And she had absolutely no one to help. No one to intervene and try to say, okay, let me take the baby from you. Sometimes they just need that break. So do I blame her 100%? No. I blame more her family because she experienced this with her 8-year-old. So I blame the family more than I blame her because mentally she's gone. She's gone. Now she got the second daddy. He goes to jail. He was her sole provider. He was the one. I blame her family. I think they all should go to jail and she should go to an institution. Yeah. But I ain't nobody. I'm just vibes with Jocelyn. So you know what? This is just my opinion. That's it.
losing Jay's father when he was 2, she had isolated herself and tried to do everything on her own. When she got pregnant with the twins, she saw it as a new start. But after Marcus was incarcerated 6 months before the incident, everything fell apart. Now, I know Brooklynne is the main person in this case, but Marcus, there's a lot of questions. What the hell were you doing getting incarcerated? You just had twins, you muppet. Brooklynne admitted Marcus had been the one who really took care of the twins, coming over daily and working multiple jobs to provide for them. With him gone, she said she had been slacking and sleeping a lot. Brooklynne confirmed she was the only caretaker for the children and that she didn't allow others into her apartment. When maintenance needed to enter, she would clean up beforehand so they wouldn't call her or evict her. She acknowledged that the conditions in her apartment were unacceptable, saying that children should not be living in that condition. She was embarrassed about her physical condition and the state of her home, so she avoided contact with others. When people were around, she would try to make it look good. And perhaps most damning was her admission about her daily routine and care of the children. She talked about how she doesn't care of herself and doesn't eat much, admitting that she might not have been taking care of Skii the right way. She said she sleeps a lot but tries to make sure at least everyone eats breakfast. She explained that it was easier to care for Jay. He can take care of himself. He can cook for himself. She continued to talk about how she sometimes gets up and will take care of things and sometimes will not. She also revealed her problems with alcohol, stating that she normally starts the day off with a shot at least. She would drink either in her apartment or go out to her vehicle to sit and drink alone. One of the most disturbing parts of Brooklynne's confession involved her explanation of the severe wounds on both twins in her thighs. When detectives asked about the rash, she acknowledged that she knew it was bad. She said she tried treating it with A&D ointment and Vaseline, but it got worse. When asked if it was due to her not changing the children's diapers, she admitted it had to be. Well then change the diapers, you dirty
Dumbass.
cow. Her explanation of the children's routine was horrifying. She would put the twins to bed around 8 and not get them up until 10 a.m. the next morning, which is 14 hours. If the children were sleeping with her, she would change them overnight, but if they were in their own room, she wouldn't get up because she was lazy. She never...
You know, the crazy thing about it is that she didn't even care about herself. She living in this mess too. This is horrible.
took the children to a doctor for the severe diaper rash because she thought she could handle it herself. Even more disturbing was her revelation about bathing the children. She claimed her bathtub had been clogged for about 2 weeks, but when confronted with evidence that the tub was actually filled with filthy, stagnant water, she changed her story about when she last bathed the children. When detectives told Brooklynne that Skii weighed only 13 pounds, her response was "Really?" seemed to indicate she had no idea. She wasn't aware how severely malnourished her daughter had become. She claimed that a few months prior, Skii had weighed 32 pounds, but argued it doesn't take long for children to lose weight. This statement showed a fundamental misunderstanding of child development. Healthy children don't lose nearly half their body weight in a matter of months. Now, Brooklynne admitted that she was feeding the children, but probably not how she was supposed to, and claimed she had never gone 24 hours without feeding them. However, her definition of feeding them was giving them inappropriate protein shakes, made from mass gainer supplements and occasional mini pancakes. She said she did consider that the children weren't healthy, but she was scared. She recognized that they were losing weight, which is why she bought the gainer shakes. But even this attempt at nutrition was inadequate for growing toddlers. Now, on the day she found Skii deceased, she claimed she had gotten tea up around 10 a.m. and left Skii sleeping. She fed tea and then went back to bed in the living room for approximately 4 hours. She was scrolling on her phone. She didn't check on Skii until around 4 p.m. And throughout the investigation, detectives gathered substantial evidence to support the charges against Brooklynne. Her cell phone, which she voluntarily provided, contained crucial information about the timeline of events. Detective Kevin Snyder performed a forensic download of the device and discovered that most of the calls and messages had been deleted. This was significant because it suggested Brooklynne had attempted to hide evidence. The phone record showed that there were numerous calls around the time of the incident, including a lengthy call with someone identified through Facebook as having distinctive face tattoos. One call lasted approximately 2 hours during the time when Skii was allegedly sleeping, and Brooklynne was supposed to be caring for her children. So a child is dying and she's flapping her gums on FaceTime. Perhaps most telling was the absence of recent photos or videos of Skii on Brooklynne's phone. While there had been regular images and videos of children up until the beginning of August, there were no new images, save since then. This suggested that Skii's condition was becoming really bad, and she did not want to document her children's life. As the investigation continued, detectives interviewed numerous family members. They said she had isolated herself and her children from anyone who might have intervened.
And ain't nobody did a welfare check on these kids.
Seen the children in 4 years. She normally saw them only on FaceTime. When she tried to video chat with children, Brooklynne would not let the children be seen. The twins' grandmother in Illinois described similar experiences. She had only been allowed inside Brooklynne's apartment once, and even then, it was restricted to the front area. She would visit and bring diapers. Brooklynne would refuse help with changing the children and wouldn't allow others to do it. This grandmother would call in the mornings and hear the children crying in the background.
But
When
she ain't called
asked what was
911.
wrong, Brooklynne would claim she was cooking breakfast and that Skii wanted to be picked up. But the grandmother was never allowed to see the children in the video.
Red
And you also had the
flags, come
revelations
on.
from Brooklynne's 13-year-old sister, who had been around the children occasionally. According to family members, this young girl revealed she had never seen Brooklynne feed the children. She also reported that babies were normally locked up in the back room. Now, Jay, the 8-year-old son, he was interviewed by police. The interview revealed both the resilience of a child trying to survive these conditions and the extent of the neglect. Jay described home as kind of good, but he didn't like it. He said his favorite thing about the apartment was his pay place and his friends were there, but it was small. When asked about the babies, Jay became quiet and said one of them died. He explained that he would sometimes take care of the babies and make them oatmeal or other food. He said they would eat anything except for the vegetables, and they cried a lot. Jay said
They
he
were
was
in
sad and didn't want
pain.
to
They
talk
were in
about the baby
so
because
much
his sister
pain.
died and his brother
The
is
pain was excruciating. These poor babies, atrophy, weakness, muscle wasting, internal organs are shutting down. That's why they cried so much. They went through hell
in hospital.
at
Wow.
the hands
For
of
8
their
years
own.
old, that's tragic for him to talk about that. He was clearly traumatized by what he had witnessed. The interview revealed that Jay slept with his mother and the babies rather than in his own room. He described that they slept on a mattress on the floor. He confirmed that his aunt would sometimes come over and that she had been at the apartment the day before police arrived. This corroborated other witness statements about family members trying to help. So, on August 28th, Prosecutor Becker approved charges against Brooklynne Davis for homicide, felony murder,
Good.
and child abuse.
Good.
Detective Pearson completed the probable cause affidavit and signed the warrant form. Pearson requested a high bond and GPS tether as a condition of any release. Brooklynne was now facing the possibility of life in prison for the
Good.
death of her daughter and the mistreatment of her son.
And her
The
mother need
case
to
of
go.
Brooklynne sent
Grandma need to go.
shockwaves throughout
All them
the
need to go.
community.
Not just her.
How could a mother allow her children to deteriorate to such a state? How could the system have failed to intervene? The surviving twin, T, remained in intensive care but was eventually released. Now, as I said, her police interview, I'll show it to you on this channel tomorrow. Her case is still ongoing. She's awaiting trial.
Listen, go on to his channel. I'm gonna put it in the bottom of the description of this video. Go on to his channel. He's got great content similar to what I do. He's doing the same thing, so go check him out.
These details were so disturbing. So that's the end of the story. Now, I want to go through all the crime scene photos with you because
Oh,
this house was disgusting.
Let's
Some of
go.
the photos I didn't show during the video. I think this is the front door, maybe. Maybe this was the door number or a thermostat or something, but it's been redacted by police, as you can see. So this is the kitchen. Now, you see this Muscle Tech mass gainer? This is what she
was
fed to
feeding
the child.
her babies this 100% mass gainer. They were less than a year old. That's why they started vomiting coffee grind emesis.
Essentially, the twins did not eat for days, and then she gave them this. I don't know if any of you have ever taken mass gainers or high-calorie protein shakes. They're so heavy on the stomach. You're talking between 40 to 60 grams of carbohydrate.
Oh my.
In liquid form, that's going to make you feel, bloated and in a food coma or whatever. Furthermore, you got dirt on the actual countertop. This is what is this, a DS or something? I don't know. She has a
I don't know what
TV
that
here.
is.
This is a close-up of the mass gainer shake, and you can see the blow-up mattress behind it. Now, I don't know what a desk chair is doing by the kitchen.
I got that
Either
chair
the police
too,
put it
but it
there,
don't look like
or
that.
my guess is one of the kids was playing or something and put the chair there. I don't know. Either way, the chair looks like it went through World War II. I mean, how big is your ass to wipe up all the leather. This is the microwave. So this is the stove top, and as you can see, there's mess everywhere. These are coils. So was there any gas in the house? These are electric coils. Am I right? This seems to be oatmeal or grits or something. You've got an empty bottle of, I don't even know what that is. This is a bottle warmer.
Like cigarettes.
And then just look at the Tupperware on the actual stove. Yeah, is that grits or is that oatmeal? I don't know what that is. It looks revolting. So this was the other side of the counter. So you see
He's
these boost shakes. Let me move my face for a second.
Oh, she
You
was
see the
trying to do
boost
that instead of
shakes?
feeding
So,
them.
She would get the boost shakes. In fact, let me see if I can zoom in
Yeah.
on the nutritional content. Can you guys see that? Yes, you can. 250 calories. I think, let me zoom out. How many grams of carbs? I don't know. The reason why I'm pointing this out is because obviously this is not good enough or it's not adequate enough for children. But
it's
she
for
was mixing
seniors.
the boost shakes with the weight gainer.
No.
After not feeding them for hours or days, she'd give them that. So you got a watermelon here, some onions here. Sorry, let me move my face back. Is this like a George Foreman grill, right?
Yeah.
No, it's a hot plate. This is a hot plate, sorry. Again,
Look.
more Tupperware. This looks like takeout. This looks like a candle. Again, just a mess everywhere. A close-up of the hot plate.
I would die
Who
in that
knows
house.
when the last
I
time
would
that was
di-
cleaned.
I would never even be.
This is the sink. This is like a baby's bottle.
I wouldn't
Even look
even-
at the sink. Is that lime scale?
I wouldn't even
Holy
walk
Moses.
into that house.
Yeah, and that's clogged there. Actually, no, that's not clogged. That's the sink. What
I
do you
get
call
upset
it?
when there's a little bit too much
Stop-
laundry
it-
hanging
it
around.
collects the stuff and then the water goes down and you throw that in the trash. I forgot. The drainer or whatever. I forgot what it's called. Again, more dirt on this side. This is a close-up of the baby's bottle. One of the infants. Seems like there's
Yuck
water in
mouth.
there.
That's nasty,
Look
y'all.
closer. What is this?
Oh, God. This poor baby.
I mean, when I clean my kids' bottles, I've got that special baby
I
cleaner
do too.
thing that you just
Stick it
put on
inside
and
of
you
it.
get the brush and you clean it
Yes.
properly.
Yep.
What the hell is this? That's disgusting. Now we get to the fridge, and unlike most houses where I've seen the crime scene photos, this fridge is stocked. You got all these condiments here:
Hey, she got
ranch,
mangoes,
Hershey syrup, sour cream, jam,
jelly,
baby
corn,
raised barbecue. You got mustard there at the bottom.
eggs,
All
milk.
these meats here,
Right.
corn. Maybe a lot of this may have been Marcus's stuff because this is way too much for the kids. 2 trays of eggs, English muffins, milk,
Why is she
more
not feeding
meat
the-
down
why
here.
did she
I
starve
mean,
these
for a
kids?
house where everything else is fucking disgusting,
pepperoni.
the fridge is well stocked.
What?
Even in the freezer, burger patties, more meat down here. So this is next to the blow-up mattress. I have no idea what this is. Is this a child's bed or something?
No, it's a changing
idea.
table.
This is obviously a diaper box.
It's a changing table.
So, again, more
And
mess
that's why
on the
she got the
floor.
Pampers next to it.
Diapers. I mean, sure, you're gonna have a lot of diapers with her kids, but you don't just throw them on the floor, do you? I keep
No.
mine in the pantry. Not mine, but the kids. There's trash on the floor. What is that? Looks like a bread penis. So this seems to be her wallet or her small bag. This is a blanket. These are some kids' socks. And again, another water bottle here. And is that a diaper underneath? Yes, it is. This is her phone. Is that an iPhone? I don't know. So this is the mattress bed. Again, look at all the mess on the mattress. By the way, there's no blood anywhere that you'll see in these crime scene photos. What you are seeing is either
Stool?
the food mess on the floor or some kind of
Puke,
or
yeah.
something. So this is another room now. This is the kids' playpen / cot, if you like, which was never utilized for the children. Laundry basket. This
I
is
don't
a
know why she got
thermostat. 64 degrees. Holy Moses. Freezing in there.
I would die.
That is freezing.
That's
I
so
normally keep
cold.
it between 72 and 75. Wow. So this is the high chair for the twins. Look at all the mess. And it looks stuck to me. It doesn't look fresh. Like if it was some kind of liquid there, it would have a different texture to it. This looks like it's been there for a while. That to me looks like maple syrup or something. And what is that? Tomato
He is
paste from
really
pizza or something? I don't know.
dissecting
That is
these
revolting.
photos.
See, this
I
can
like.
happen when a kid eats on the high chair, but this looks like an accumulation of like weeks where it hadn't been cleaned. The irony of these 2 chairs next to a mop. I mean, just look at all the dirt.
Next to a mop.
And it seems to be the same stains. Similarly to what I said on the fridge, this seems to have been a well-stocked house. I mean, look at all the food in the pantry. Ghirardelli squares, lovely
Don't
jubbly. I mean, to
understand
think,
it.
all of this stuff.
Look at the food. She's got Prego. She had pepperoni in the refrigerator. She had some type of look like either steak or pork. She had eggs. She had milk. She had mangoes, corn. Why did she do this? Is that oatmeal? She got that's vinegar, oil. I don't get this girl. Ketchup, full bottle ketchup. Why did she do it?
Most of it is not appropriate for, like a 1-year-old.
No, let me tell you something. I would, if push come to shove and I could not afford the Similac or the food, I would have
But this oatmeal
made a little pot of spaghetti. Maybe not give them the sauce, but I would have did some noodles, mashed up the noodles with a little bit of butter or something. But to starve them, no.
it is. She could have easily given the child.
There
this
was
oatmeal
no
instead of all that
Similac
disgusting
back in the
masking.
1800s,
However,
so please.
the masking are probably, because it was more convenient, you just put it in a bowl and you shake it. So maybe that's why she did it, as well as being fucking crackers. But this is
Let me tell you something. My brother was born, he was 13 pounds. So they gave my mom Similac. It was like, oh, feed him this. That boy cried and cried and cried. My mother got it one day. She's like, hey, I swear, right hand of the man. My brother had to be like 1 month old. My mother went in that kitchen, baked that chicken, put that chicken in that that blender with some rice, and gave that to my brother. Never cried again. They didn't have Similac back in the 1920s and the 1800s. They was feeding them food. My brother is healthy as ever.
the washer and dryer. This is the twins stroller, as you can see, the one on top and the one at the bottom.
I'm gonna blow this up.
Just outside of the bathroom.
Okay.
A
That's
close-up
a
of the
nice
stroller.
stroller.
Dirty towel on top of the stroller.
More Pampers.
Diapers. So this is the bathroom.
Okay, the
This
bathroom
is the
not
sink
bad.
in the bathroom. Now, I want to show you the bath in a second. It is disgusting.
Oh,
What's
my
this?
bad.
Trash here. It used to be recycled, love. So,
Oh.
this is the bath. And
Standing water, that's nasty.
I'm going to try and paint a picture for you, right? You've all eaten curries, right? Do you know what makes a good curry to a bad curry? I know this because I'm Pakistani, obviously.
Teach me.
But next time when you go get a curry, right, have a look at the edge of the plate. If there's a ring of orange, you know it's bad because that's just straight oil.
Oh.
Which explains why I'm so greasy. Now, using that analogy, have a look at the bathtub. Look at the ring of absolute shit all the way around here.
I like him.
I know you use the curry, which is a weird analogy, but that's the first thing that came into my head. I mean, just look. Disgusting.
Oh,
how long has that water
God.
been there? What even is that water? I mean, why is the bathroom clogged? This shows the kids hadn't been bathed in a long, long time. I've never seen a bathtub like this. So now we go into one of the bedrooms. And again, this is not blood on the floor. This is just straight up trash, maybe feces or something stuck. There's more dirt on the floor. That is revolting. I mean, you know what's crazy is, I have kids myself, and I mean, I'm sure in your house too, a lot of the walls will randomly have a mark on there, or there may be some stains out of nowhere, because kids just run around and do a whole bunch of, their kids are doolally, right? But if you look at the floor here, this just requires a vacuum and you're done. Now, let's assume this stain here is just, a child dropping food. Let's just assume that's what it is. That's okay. They do it all the
It
time.
happens. But you're supposed to
But
clean
this
it
here at the
up.
bottom, that's inexcusable. Just get a vacuum and clean it.
Right.
Look, I mean, just look at all this trash here.
Just bend
My guess is
over.
this area, this closet, if you like, was probably never cleaned.
Now, mind you, she had a pit bull. She did the same thing to the pit bull as she did to her kids.
And it's not hard either. I don't know about you. I find vacuuming very therapeutic.
I do
This is a different
too. I
angle
love it.
of the
Love
kitchen
vacuuming.
and the fat ass leather chair. And I think this is chocolate milk or the shakes on the floor. Maybe one of the kids threw up or something,
He's speculation.
Yeah, that looks like
Listen, this is
puke to
all
me.
allegedly. This is just
That is
me and his
disgusting.
opinion. We don't
That
know.
does kind of have like a shake
Look at him.
texture to it as
Did
well.
it come from that's like a
This is
McDonald's
clothes for
shake.
a 12-month-old, yes. I'm guessing one of the twins was wearing this. So now we're going to go to the back room. And in the back room, this is where she kept the twins a lot of the time and her dog. She even starved her dog. So, I mean, just that alone. What the hell? Like, that's a couch. But look at the state of it. Oh, my God. But just look at that. Look at that. What the hell is this, bruv?
It is actually making me, I swear, this is making me nauseous. I need him to get moving with this part because my mouth is filling up right now. This is gross.
The jail sentence. She's currently still on trial, right? But this in itself should be, even if the children survived, you should go to jail just for this alone. I mean, look at the state of that cage.
Oh God.
This is probably the kennel for her dog, but look at all the trash around it. Oh my days.
God.
I've never seen anything as disgusting,
This is so
as revolting,
gross.
as just, what the fuck is all this shit?
Oh God.
This moron, she's got time to go down to the hair salon, paint her hair green, right?
This is gross.
Look like Heath Ledger from fucking Batman. But this silly cow
He's funny.
didn't have the foresight to clean all this shit.
Cow.
Because this isn't just
It's sad, y'all. I'm not.
this isn't just one moment. This is an accumulation of crap. And this
Yes.
makes me want to puke. But that's the end of the photos. Have you
too.
ever seen anything like this? Wow.
No, never seen anything like this in my freaking life, you guys. But at the end of the day, this isn't about views. It's about awareness. It's about recognizing when something feels a little bit off and not ignoring it. Those babies, everybody ignored it. Because I took one look at the picture when she's in the carriage and she's outside. And I said, her head to body ratio was off. Her head was massive and her body was this tiny. So we can't ignore this stuff, you know? So if you see something unsafe involving a child, just report it. If nothing is wrong, guess what? Nobody's going to get in trouble. But if you feel something isn't right, trust your instincts because you are not crazy. Something is wrong. And awareness can be the first step towards prevention. So you know what? This has been Viral Vibes with Jocelyn. And stay aware, stay protected, and I'll see you in the next live, you guys. Like, share, subscribe, put on your notifications, and get that ding when I am here live going over this stuff. But go into my description. This guy right here, he's got a lot of content, and he is awesome. So I hope you enjoy him. You guys have a great night. Be blessed. Goodbye.